So Obed-Edom the Gittite is an Israelite, and he's a Levite, because it shows you right here that he came from Levi, and he was living in Gath Rimmon. And when you are living in Gath Rimmon, what are you called? Hebrew 1667. Gath Rimmon, which is a city given out of the tribe of Dan to Levites, because the Levites don't have an inheritance. Numbers chapter 18 explains that to you. And so what are you called? You are called Gath, and then you are called here. You are called here, wait, sorry. Here, Gittite. Obed-Edom the Gittite. Why was he called a Gittite? Because he was living in Gath. That's why. He was an inhabitant of Gath. Now, okay, like Gath is a name. It's that they had back in those days, and they named different cities after Gath also. They named different cities after Gath. But this particular Levite was living in the place called Gath Rimmon. So they called him a Gittite. He's not a Gittite. They called him a Gittite because he's from Gath Rimmon. Gath Rimmon. Right. Okay, so that now that is out the way, and then going back further to should I stop now? Okay, I'll just read this, finish this up, because yeah. Okay. So it says here, verse 11. I think I'm done with all that there. So verse 11 in the 2 Samuel chapter 6, verse 11. Wait. Right. And the Ark of the Covenant, the Ark of the Heavenly Father continued in the house of Obed-Edom the Gittite 3 months. Obed-Edom is a Levite. Both of them are Levites, by the way. One is a Levite from Merari, and the other one is a Levite from Kohath. I'm not sure if there was a third one, but I didn't really obviously find one, but I found obviously two. Like, it was obvious, like, hey, this is another one. So there's two that I know of. It could be three. Not sure. Wait, maybe it says it. Wait, let me see something. Let's stick it here. No, here. So it says here, Obed-Edom, servant of Edom, but it's actually, I would say it's Obed-Edom, which is servant of the ground. A Levite and a Gittite who kept the Ark of the Covenant. They make it seem as if he's a Hamite. He's not. But anyway, who kept the Ark of the Covenant after Uzzah was slain for touching the Ark while it was being taken to Jerusalem, and it got bumped by an ox. Here it comes. A Merarite, Levite, and a singer and gatekeeper. So you had that one, the family descendant from him. Right. So you had a this one is Kohathite. This one, Kohath. He's not Merari of Merarite. He's not that. He's a Kohathite. That is the one that got blessed here in here. That is the one that got blessed in 1 Chronicles chapter 15. But it's kind of confusing also because it talks about the sons of Merari, but they're working together, all of them. And then here, obviously, verse 25 here, 24 and 25 here. This Obed-Edom is talking about this one, Kohath, because he was the one living in Gath Rimmon, which they called him a Gittite. All right. So, okay, going on. Verse 12. And it was told David, saying, Yahweh had blessed the house of Obed-Edom and all that pertained unto him because of the ark of the Heavenly Father. So David went and brought up the ark of Yahweh from the house of Obed-Edom into the city of David. He's like, really? Are you sure? You mean to tell me that, he got a blessing? So it says in verse 13, and it was so, that when they that bare the ark of Yahweh had gone 6 paces, he sacrificed oxen and fatlings. And David danced before Yahweh with all his might. He was really trying. And David was girded with a linen ephod. Now linen is very soft. Well, no, wait, linen clothing here. Yeah, soft. Linen clothing. It's very soft. And very wavy. It blows in the wind very, very... If the wind was blow in the wind... Yeah, this is going to happen. It's going to lift up. It's going to lift up in the wind. Yeah. It's going to be windy. It's going to walk away with the wind. Right. So David and all the house of Israel brought up the ark of Yahweh with shouting and with the sound of the trumpet. He was dancing with all his might. And then, okay, good. With the fight. Okay, he had the ephod on. This is the ephod. He had this on. He had the priest garment on. A priest-like garment he had on. Right. So let me hear. Hold on. Verse 16. And as the ark of Yahweh came into the city of David, Michal, Saul's daughter, looked through a window and saw David leaping and dancing before Yahweh. He was dancing in front of the Ark of the Covenant. Because it shows you right here that... Where did I put it? It says that he dwelled between the cherubims. Where did I put that? I think I clicked it away or something. No, it says the Most High dwelled between the... Huh? Oh yeah, here. Shh. Didn't color it. Dwelled between the Lord of Hosts that dwelleth between... Here, the Lord of Hosts. The cherubims. So he's right there. He's right there. He's right there. His presence is right there. That's what it means. That he was dancing in front of the Lord. He was dancing in front of the Ark of the Covenant. Because, they had a physical thing that they actually loved and they could see and they could talk to. Well, you wouldn't touch it. I wanted to say that they could touch. No. And you shouldn't touch it, bro. And you shouldn't look into it, too. You're going to die. But they did have it when the Levites covered it. They did have it in front of them and they danced and stuff like that. They didn't look into it. You shouldn't look into it. Not a good idea. So it says here, and saw David leaping and dancing before Yahweh, and she despised him in her heart. Later on is going to explain why, one of the reasons. There's no reason whatsoever, but anyways, she had her reasons. I think it's explained later on, if I'm correct. And they brought in the ark of the Heavenly Father, where his presence is in, right? And set it in his place, in the midst of the tabernacle that David had pitched for it. It was a tent, pitched like a tent. Because later his son built a house for the Ark of the Covenant. That's the house of the Lord. Because the Lord is dwelling within between the cherubims. There he talked to you. And then they was like, okay, I'm going to build you a house. And then King Solomon that built the house said, the only reason I'm going to build a house is because to burn sacrifice and do offerings and stuff like that. Not because you live there, because you don't live there. So King Solomon knew So he was wise. And David offered burnt offerings and peace offerings before Yahweh in front of the Ark of the Covenant. Leviticus 16 and 13 explains that to you, what he did. He told the priest, can you sprinkle blood and stuff like that? And then the priest did it and stuff like that, 18. And as soon as David had made an end of offering burnt offerings and peace offerings, he blessed the people in the name of Yahweh, the Lord of hosts. And he dealt among all the people, even among the whole multitude of Israel, as well as to women as men, to every one a cake of bread and good piece of flesh. And something to eat. Yeah, great. And a flagon of wine. So all the people departed, every one to his house. Then David returned to bless his household, and Michal, the daughter of Saul, came out to meet David and said, how glorious was the king of Israel today, who uncovered himself today in the eyes of the handmaids and of his servants. Why? Here, it is explained here. This is why she hated him. Okay, let me see here. Linen. Linen, clothing, and wind. Where's that check here? There's another one. There's another one. Windier. No. No. Okay, I want to see real harsh wind, but if I can't find it, I'll leave it. Yeah, whatever. So basically, this is like, let me see something. Anyway, it flaps in the wind, man. It's very light. It just, could use this, but it could use this, but yeah, it flaps in the wind. I wanted to use it on the person body. It flaps in the wind. That's the point, and it might lift up her skirt. If she, doesn't wear anything underneath it, you might see it. And so she said, who uncovered himself today in the eyes of the handmaid. So she was like, all the girls was looking at you and your own servants. As one of the vain fellows shamefully uncovered himself. He didn't do it like that. It was by accident because it was windy and he was dancing with all his might. Can you imagine that, man? He was really trying, Yeah. And David said unto Michal, it was before the Lord. It was before the Ark of the Covenant. What are you talking about? Which chose me before thy father. And before all his house, the house of Saul. To appoint me ruler over the people of Yahweh, over Israel. Therefore will I play before the Lord. Yeah, it wasn't just, some kind of day. It was the day. And I will yet be more vile than thus. So, since you want to be mean, I'm going to be more filthier than you. And will be base in mine own sight. I'm going to lower myself. Because normally I don't do things like this. This is what he did. And of the maid servants which thou hast spoken of, you talking about them girls? Of them shall I be had in honor. Right? Therefore, Michal, the daughter of Saul, had no child unto the day of her death. So he was like, oh, since you was talking about them girls, you know what? I'm gonna do them right. And I'm not gonna do you right. You're gonna die childless today, from this day on. And I will never have sex with you again, and never will anybody else, because that's going to be adultery, and they're going to be put to death, and they're going to be fearing not to sleep with you. So nobody's going to sleep with you. You're going to be shunned. You're going to be abhorred, which is everybody going to be staying away from you, and you're going to die a childless woman. You're not going to have sex. You're going to die with an itch. As they say, guys that die virgins, they die with blue balls and stuff like that. If you know how hurtful this is for a woman, you wouldn't understand. Women always get attention from other men. That's why they dress. This is why they dress like that. Why your legs showing? Why you out here in your underwear? What's the reason? Why are you naked? Why you dressed like that? I don't know. It's kind of warm today. You know, I just wanna get the sun on my chest and stuff like that. Is this Photoshop? Is Photoshop? I'm looking at this like ain't no way it's real. Ain't no way it's real. Look real. I'm looking at the fingers. That looked like a mistake. Shit. Is that real? Huh. Ain't no way. Okay. Anyway. Right. So yeah, why you dressed like that? Oh, and I just want to get my eyes out. You know, it matches my eyes. I want to show my eyes. He's probably thinking like, man, I'm sure she could do some great calculations. I need an accountant. Right. Great. Fucking hilarious. It looked like it just rained. Bimbo got on skimpy clothing. But why? Why you think her chest is out there? You think she's trying to catch pneumonia? You know, put that chest out there. Start coughing. Why is this doofus doing the same thing? It's just the female. They're all over the place. Just like this. Like for no apparent reason. They have no other reason than it's warm today. So I'll just dress as less as possible in order for my eyes to show. You know? I want to get that connection. And when you meet me, you be staring in my eyes. You know? Not my thighs. My eyes is down here, is up here. Is up here. It's not down here, it's up here. Right. So, you know, this is what they do. They've been doing this. This is their tactic. They don't know any better. when you understand this, she's just looking at this like they think it's power in it. Right? It's all about all these females want is power. They just want to be strong for no apparent reason. It's not like they're weak or something. I mean, there's no such thing as a weak woman, right? That's why they're all trying to be. Listen, if you're trying to be strong, that means you're weak. If you're always talking about the power that you have, that means you're weak. That's all you have. But if a man has the power to just not be like, I'm not impressed. Can you break down these scriptures? How about that? Or can you lift up this thing over here? No, I'm just playing. I don't do that. With the scriptures, can you break this down? No, I don't do that. And neither would I ask you like lift up this thing. But since you want to be strong, look at you. Just looking at this hand, I know like you break your wrist trying to lift up anything in the house, man. Come on, man. Sit your ass down, and just look like this guy. Just look at me lifting stuff or something like that. You know, just look at me. Doing some actual, I don't know, heavy lifting or something like that. You know, you got the jig woman over here, looking like some kind of Coke bottle or something like that, the old school Coke bottles. And yeah, and that is, should I say it? That's what they're worth. You're worth your looks. You know, and if you don't have looks, you better get to calculating. You better get yourself some calculations up in this bayou, you'll know. You know, you better get yourself some calculations and stuff like that, because money ain't a thing. A girl with money, it's like, I don't know, it's like a monkey on a tricycle or something like that. I'm like, it's laughable. I'll look. and then my interest is gone because fuck am I gonna do with that? I gotta make some money. So once that war comes, do you think you can buy yourself out of here? Well, it's not war now. I can still buy stuff. Can you buy love? Can you buy dignity? You can't buy those things, kid. You know, so with that, I'm gonna say shalom. Am I done? Wait, let me see. Yeah, Micah died and childless. What? It didn't work? Here? Yeah. Oh, shit. Wait. I have one thing to say. Yeah, so you females are gonna die childless. You're gonna die childless. You, as much as you look this so-called pretty, I don't even want to believe it's real because I'm looking at them hands and I'm thinking like it's photoshopped. That's what I think. Anyway, you're looking all cute and shit. You're gonna die childless. You know, porno horror. This is porno horror too, but this is like see-through. Anyway, as if this ain't worse, but as if this is not the not worse. I mean, as if it is not bad too. You're right. Hey, you're gonna die childless, and so with that, I'm gonna say shalom.